who helped raise me. And it's not going to be your typical strong woman story. Not that I know what a typical strong woman story is, but when I imagine a typical strong woman story, I imagine a story of strength and about a woman who has conquered or overcome, or about somebody who is, like I said before, a mover and shaker. And my mother is all of those things. But as sometimes happens when you are strong, you can also be a bit controlling. So this is kind of almost a reverse spin on that positive story. My mother has made me into who I am, and I am forever grateful to her. You know, we've had moments of conversation in recent years, in recent months even, where she's like broken down and cried and been like, I wasn't a good mother to you, was I? And I have to constantly express, yes, you were. You were a great mother. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for you. That being said, I had to come to terms with myself and who I was. And I had to be able at one point and beyond in my life to tell my mother, this is who I am, and I know this is who you see me as, but this is who I'm going to become. I can't become this person that you're imagining in your head. And so this is a story about that. I've seen my mom mad before, but never this mad. My mom, she has like really red cheeks. So when she gets mad, her head becomes a tomato. And on this specific occasion, I remember her bolting out of bed. Oh, and it looked like her head was about to become ketchup all over the wall. I mean, she was so angry. My mom was somebody who put me into all sorts of different activities, even though I was the kind of kid who was like, no, I want to stay home, I don't like it. But then I would go and I'd be like, oh, I loved it, I had such a good time. So I was in PSR, I was in Boy Scouts, I was in karate, I was in soccer, basketball, baseball, football, you name it, I was in it. And of course, drama club. So as I grew older, I realized that I needed to start being a little bit more discerning. There weren't enough hours in the day to be a part of every single group. The thing I think my mom was most proud of, she was proud that I was in Scouts and on my way to becoming an Eagle Scout, and she was proud that I was in football. She loved being able to tell her friends that I was a football player. You know, I was the letter-winning Stowe High School football player. And my sophomore year, I had a really great season, and I was excited about the future when I tore my LCL. And LCL is the opposite of the ACL, but it's still a pretty bad injury. You can play through it, but it's not a good idea. Rehab took me about 6 weeks. And during that 6 weeks, I watched my friends get bigger, get faster, get stronger, while I was literally just rehabbing my left knee. And so I knew right away that I was never going to be able to compete at a varsity level in football come my junior year. So it came time for me to go to varsity two-a-days, which happens at the beginning of August. And two-a-days are the worst. Anybody ever been to two-a-days of football? Oh, those are the worst, man. They're the worst. It's 2 practices in one day. You know, they do give you plenty of water breaks, but otherwise it's just smash mouth, hitting each other, running, just the worst you can imagine. And here I was, a junior, or about to be, and I was thinking to myself, do I love football enough that I want to go and I want to put myself through 2 weeks of hell, basically, so that I can maybe get on junior varsity as a junior? Maybe, if I'm lucky. And I realized that's not what I wanted. You know, I had this wonderful group of friends who had helped me realize that I loved theater more than anything. And they were pumped about our junior year. They were like, man, I'm going to be in the junior class play. I'm going to help out with the senior class play. I'm going to do the one acts. I'm going to do the musical. And I was like, I want to do that too. But here I am, a football player. We practice every day. And then when football's not happening, we have morning workouts. So how am I ever going to have time to do this? And so I thought about it a long time. I talked to my dog about it because he was my best friend. And he gave me some really good advice. And I realized that I didn't want to play football anymore. I love the sport, but I didn't want to play. So like all strong men, on the first day of 2 days, I went to the parking lot of Holy Family and I slept in the car for the whole practice. Now, I knew I needed to look kind of dirty going home, so I got outside and I went on the playground, I played a little bit, I roughed up myself, got some mud all over. I went home and I was like, oh man, Mom, practice was tough today. You know, I'm feeling it. So the next day, I went back to the parking lot of Holy Family. It was about 8 a.m. because we had early practices. And I broke down and I started crying because I knew this was no way. I wasn't going to be able to go through this for 2 weeks, let alone 6 months of pretending I was playing football. Yeah, Mom, did you see me on the field? What number are you? 65. Yeah, that guy. You know, kind of looks like my shape, right? So once I finally was able to calm myself down, I realized that I had to go speak to my mom. But again, like all strong men, I knew that I couldn't do it alone, so I went to my grandparents. And I knocked on their door, 8:30 in the morning. They came down, they opened it, and I told them that I just couldn't play football and that I needed their help to tell my mom because I knew it was going to break her heart. Because to her, TJ Jozsa, which was my name at the time, TJ Jozsa was a football player. So there was no way that I alone was going to be able to tell her that without her just throwing me out of the house and disowning me. So my grandma was sort of the yin to my mother's yang, and she still is. And that really helped. She calmed me down, and she sent my grandpa with me to go tell my mother that I was done. And I'll never forget the moment because my grandpa and I entered our house, walked down the hallway. My grandpa's like calling out, Kendra, where are you, Kendra? She's in the bedroom. She's still sleeping because it's her summer vacation. She's sleeping in. She's taking every opportunity she can. So my grandpa doesn't care. He barges into her bedroom. He's like, Kendra, we need to talk. My mom springs up. Oh, what's wrong? And my grandpa goes, your son, he's quitting football. All right, I'm leaving. So there I am. And now this is the moment where my mom pops out of bed and she is livid. Her face gets so red, it looks like a balloon. It looks like she's about to fly away. And she goes, TJ Jozsa, you are not quitting football. And then she starts crying and bawling and yelling at me. And she calls my dad and she's like, how dare our son quit football? He can't do that. I'm going to take him right back to the coach and make him practice in front of me. So, I knew she needed to calm down. I think everybody in this room would have known she needed to calm down. So I left, and I actually went to my coach right then and there, and I told him I loved playing for him, I loved football, but it just wasn't for me. And he was so encouraging. I love the fact that he said, you know what, I got to see you on a show, TJ, and you're wonderful. You should keep performing. Keep doing that. That's what you love, keep doing it. And by the time I got home, my mom was calmed down. It took her probably until the end of my junior year to get over the fact that TJ, now Kyle Jozsa, was no longer a football player. But she got over it. And the most important thing I realized was my mom. She's a strong woman. She helped shape me into who I am. But I had to become a strong man and be able to stand up to that strong woman and say, this is who I am, and I'm not trying to hurt you. But to become who I'm supposed to be, I need to go in a different direction than who you see me becoming. And that's my story.